Welcome to the Church of Jesus Christ. And my sincere prayer is that he does exactly what our dear sister just prayed for, that each of you would be encouraged by his message. And I don't say that with any arrogance at all. In fact, I say that probably with a fear of God in my heart as I say his message. What I mean by that is, and I speak, I think, for all ministers everywhere this morning, that when you come to this point of a service, that you're the one addressing the people of God, your biggest concern is that, God forbid, I would or one would get in the way of God's message. And so when I say that I pray that you're blessed by God's message, it's with a prayer in my heart. Lord, please let this be your inspired word this morning. So first off, I appreciate so greatly Sister Patty's prayer, and probably each of yours. As our sister was praying, I am going to make the assumption that each of you were praying with her. And for that, I want to say thank you. And I hope you understand that prayer is a little self-serving, and that's okay. There are times when we should be praying for ourselves. And so even asking God to bless us with his message serves you. And so I agree and amen, our sister, and pray that God blesses us. I'm going to speak about a subject that Sister Donna or Candace or my kids or anyone else who has known me so many years. I go on, I look at so many on here. I'm sorry to even call out a few, because I could probably call out you all. Would say, oh, he's been preaching that subject for as long as we can remember. When we had a GMBA camp out in Florida, and I was the young person at the time and the camp director, the theme was this theme, or at least the one word in this theme. And so as long as I can remember, this has been a focus of mine. The theme this morning is spark joy. For some, you may connect with one of those words. For others, maybe you connect with both of those words together. When I say both of those words, I mean both of those words used together. Spark joy. It's a phrase now. It's a phrase amongst some that is very popular. Born from a writer, an Asian writer who has written some tremendous books on tidying up, as odd as that may sound. But I'm going to use a couple different words to introduce tidying up and more importantly, introduce spark joy. So again, our theme is spark joy. Essentialism, subject in many, many self-help books and many nonfiction books. Essentialism, said to be the disciplined pursuit of less. Essentialism, the disciplined approach or pursuit of less. Another word for that is minimalization. Minimalizing. Minimalization is similar. It's definitely similar to essentialism, and they're tied, especially in this presentation, in this subject matter, spark joy. It's intentionally promoting the things we most value, and here comes the important part, and removing all distractions from those things that we most value, or in some cases, the thing we most value. Minimalizing, finding what is essential, cleaning everything out away. Another phrase that is used today is declutter. It's decluttering. And know that I could turn my camera around and you could see my office and know that I haven't quite read enough of those books as I continue to try to declutter my life, my office space, everything about me. I'm trying to declutter. Candace will tell you I'm a very busy person. Some by necessity, but much by decision making. And what I mean by that is I could do much better at this subject. The theme today, spark joy. In those definitions, you heard a couple phrases. Pursuit of less, removing And again, all towards tidying up the mind, tidying up the heart, tidying up a room or space. But today we're going to turn that towards a much deeper subject matter, which is the joy part of this. I'm going to tell you how that phrase came to be, spark joy. Essentialism, the form of minimalizing oneself. And I'm sorry to be reading, but I want to read these notes that I took up concerning these books and the subject matter. Reducing something undesirable to the smallest possible amount or degree. This involves proactively eliminating unnecessary things in your life, which cause frustration, which cause confusion, which sometimes are overwhelming, and this steals your joy. Many believe, and in fact, there are some religions that are founded on this. Possessions create and or cause all pain and suffering. Possessions, things we possess, are the root cause of pain and suffering. And sometimes we even put names, people's names, to possessions. We possess one another. We possess things that break, or we lose them, and instantly the feeling is negativity. Again, robbing joy. And so when people start to minimalize, they remove possessions or those things that don't spark joy. Any possessions that do not spark joy in this theory are eliminated. And here's how simple it gets. In one particular book, I believe it's called Tidying Up. In this particular book, the author advises going into one's closet. Literally, this is the how-to. Going into one's closet and going article of clothing by article of clothing by article of clothing, taking them off the hanger, taking them off the rack, looking at them and deciding in that moment, does this spark joy? When I wear this, does it create joy in me? Or is it just part of a uniform that I wear every now and then? And if it doesn't spark joy, take it out of your closet, give it away, sell it, do whatever you can, but remove it from your possessions. And once you've accomplished that in your closet, move to your garage, move to your bedroom, move to your living room, move to your yard, move to every facet of your life, move to your office at work or at home, and begin to remove those things that don't spark joy, so that the remainder are only those things that create and stir joy in your hearts. I heard a few of you mention, before the meeting started, mention Aubrey's posts. My daughter and her husband, Aaron, had a glorious trip. Those of my Tuesday nighters know we've been praying for her and kind of following her on her posts as well. As Aaron and Aubrey went out to Wyoming/Montana. They landed in one of those states and then visited the other, and I don't have it right. I don't know which one they landed in and which one they drove to, and I keep messing it up. But anyway, going to Montana and to Wyoming, they just had a glorious time. Aubrey described it as a healing trip. And those of you who have been praying for her, those of you who feel intertwined in her life and her life journey the last couple of years, understand, I think, that description. It's been a healing trip for her. Now, having said that, I came away from that description and I thought, what a beautiful capture. Caitlin is pursuing in her degree, if you were on earlier, at least one of her degrees in art therapy. And yes, to answer those questions, I heard the conversations, that was Aubrey's major as well. And that type of individual is kind of has the right brain kind of muscled up, and so creativity is the lead. So often when Aubrey speaks, it's like listening to poetry, because she speaks in visuals and speaks in illustrations. As she talks, you create pictures in your mind. And so when she said it's been a healing trip, it took me and moved me to define and what I saw. And of course, I saw something quite beautiful, given all that she's been through. But I saw more than just physicality of healing. I saw the healing of the heart, the healing of the mind, the healing of the soul, the healing of the spirit. And I was just so overwhelmed. And I came to a conclusion as I kind of did that thinking on my patio, that isn't that what spirituality is? Healing. Every facet of spirituality is healing. If spirituality is what it's defined as, is giving to those who can't give back, giving to the homeless, giving to those who have lost their children or lost all that they have, to give to those who can't return it. Isn't that a healing of our own egos, a healing of our own spirits that we give to others? So anyway, I don't want to philosophize too deeply here, but isn't that what spirituality is? Healing. So I applaud the results of the trip and all that Aubrey went through, and I bring that to you. That's what our theme is today. Spark joy. Every trip, every venture, every room in your house, every individual that you connect with should spark joy. 10 things that steal our joy. Maybe this will help kickstart you to what you can begin to eliminate from your proverbial closets. 10 things that steal our joy. Complaining. First, I want to validate you. Whatever it is that you complain about, you're probably right. But is that working towards a joyful spirit, or is that just more taking you down? Procrastination, just prolonging the pain. Gossip. You whisper to someone else, now you've poisoned their minds and it's stirred up within you. Gossip steals your joy. Need for, and by the way, hearing gossip as well, obviously. Need for approval. Doing everything that someone else might approve of you. And the reason why that steals joy is whatever it is you're seeking, you're probably not going to receive. Whatever it is you want from that person as you're looking for their approval, you're probably not going to get what you need, what you've defined in advance of what you need. Not keeping your word. As they say, one lie creates 1,000 lies. Now you have to continue to get past that. Not keeping your word, you've disappointed someone, you have to live with that. Anyway, I'm not going to go through each one of these and explain them. Negative self-talk. Dependence upon circumstance or attachment to circumstances for your joy. Living in the past. Oh, that we could go back. Fear of the future. Past and future. Take no thought for the morrow, as Jesus says. Live in today. Lessening of God in your heart, lessening of God in your mind, lessening of God in your spirit, and lessening of God in your prayers. All of these 10 things take your joy, steal your joy away. I'm going to read a couple quotes as we head towards sparking joy. Again, joy has been a subject matter that I've addressed in the past, but that's kind of the what to. This is the how to. I want you to leave from this place pursuing joy, maintaining joy. I'm going to read a word and I'm going to clarify it in one of the verses that I'm going to read to you a little bit later, so that we understand that joy is ours to have and to hold. It shouldn't be fleeting. It shouldn't enter into our lives and then go away. As I've said before, and I'll say it forever, joy is not a visiting place. It's a dwelling place. It is not dependent. Hear this. In fact, it is independent of circumstance. Happiness or a good feeling may be dependent on circumstance, but joy is above it all. Joy is too deep within to travel in and travel out. Don't know some of these people that I'm bringing quotes to you from which I'm bringing these quotes, but I'm going to read them anyway. Nadia Belanger said this: the essential conditions, hear this, the essential conditions of everything you do must be choice, love, passion. The essential conditions, choice. You choose. You choose to put that shirt on, whether it sparks joy or not. You choose to put that circumstance on, whether it sparks joy or not. You choose, most importantly, Jesus Christ. That sparks a deep joy within you. And you don't just choose Jesus Christ in a moment. You choose Jesus Christ for a life and for a lifestyle. Choice, love, passion. Whatever you do, do it with passion. Else, why do it at all? The grand essentials, says Alan Chalmers. Again, I'm so sorry I don't know who these people are. I'd give you a little more background. The grand essentials of happiness or joy are something to do, something to love, something for which to hope. Do, love, hope. This is the grand essentials of joy. I've read this one before, and so some of you will smile when I read it again, I'm sure. The Little Prince, one of my favorite. They call it a book for children, but I think it's so much more than that. The Little Prince has a great quote in it that says this: "It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. It is only with the heart that one can see clearly, rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye." And if you don't know this, you will now. God said something very similar, if not the same thing. When Samuel was there to call out the king, and he had these brothers come one after another to stand before him so that he could decide whether they were being called by God. One that was described as with a ruddy face, sat out in the field, probably smelling of sheep, smelling of sweat, not looking regal, I'm certain of that at all, but more as a servant. And God spoke to Samuel concerning David. And he said, "Look not on his countenance or the height of his stature, because I have refused him." These brothers who came in, they were described as beautiful. They came, I don't mean this pridefully, I just mean how they were. They came in sauntering, probably specimens. And so Samuel was warned, "Look not on his countenance or the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart." That's 1 Samuel 16:7, if you're going to go read that. God doesn't look at this. He looks at the heart, at the intention, at the purity, at the spirit, at the soul. Aubrey said all those things were being healed by seeing God's magnificence and by seeing it with he that she loves most, her husband. What joy. I looked at the videos, and Candace and I would receive these texts daily with pictures and videos, and we would sit in our house and we would cry because we saw a joy that had been rekindled in our daughter's face for the first time. One of the cornerstone verses for me has always been the same. And it was the theme, in fact, of this camp out that I spoke of in 1980 something. It comes from 2 Nephi 2:25. It says this: "How man came to be and why man came to be is captured in this verse. How did we get here and why did we get here? It says it this way: Adam fell, which we may look at that event and see it as the causation of everything bad. And this verse is saying, oh, it's quite contrary to how we might interpret it naturally. The spiritual connotation of Adam's fall is actually quite magnificent. Stating it this way, Adam fell that men might be. Adam fell with purpose. He fell so that mankind would populate and repopulate. Adam fell that men might be, and then he tells us why. Men are that they might have joy. Now it sounds almost like a double entendre. They might. It's not what he means by that. Adam fell that men might be, and we are, so that we have joy. We find Jesus Christ. We find salvation, and we flourish in that joy of salvation. Your purpose? Have joy. Your way of getting there? Maintain all that sparks joy in your life and eliminate that which doesn't. Isaiah 35 says, the ransom of the Lord shall return. Come back to Zion with songs and everlasting joy in their heads. Don't take that to mean straight to Zion only, because most who read this will never get to the literal gathering of Zion. So Zion is a condition within your heart, a condition of the spirit, condition of the mind. Return to Zion, and they shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. And once you obtain joy and gladness, it needn't ever leave you again. It is not a momentary condition. It is not dependent upon what's going on around you. It is placed within you through his Holy Spirit to dwell. This joy is yours. Men are, that they might have this forever in their existence. I don't know what my existence will be, but beginning at age 18, joy was placed in my heart. I obtained, O-B-T-A-I-N, so that no one is confused by what I'm saying. Not attain, obtain. I obtained joy in that moment. Never to be lost, intended to never be lost. And now my purpose is to identify those things that spark joy. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation. I believe that for me happened at 18. The joy of the salvation of Jesus Christ was restored within me. I began innocent and pure and joy-filled as a child, and I lost it all. Lost it based on my decisions. Lost it based on my bad decisions and my separation from God. My desire to be separated from God. I had discovered things that were pleasing to the natural side of me, and I was embracing those things. And on July 27, 1976, I cried out, "Restore unto me the joy of your salvation." And the Lord heard me and rescued me. And John 15:11 says this, "These things I have spoken unto you," and he speaks for me today. "These things I have spoken unto you, that my joy might translate. But more importantly, the my in this is the joy of Jesus Christ." So Jesus Christ saying to each of you that my joy might remain in you and that your joy might be full. Last night I got home from our football game, and there's something that sparks joy for me. I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but this simple, and so it sparks happiness, if not joy. And I come home and I have my cold coffee, So I brew it in this container, and it sits for 24 hours in the refrigerator. And then I come home and I pour this cold coffee into my coffee. And then I add a little cream and I put a little sweetener in there, and it's delicious. And when I don't put enough in it, there's a little bit left over on the top and I have space. And then I goof up. Then I take the coffee and I pour a little bit more because I have to have a full cup. So I put a little bit more, and now the flavor's off. And some of the joy is off kilter. That your joy might be full, that the cup might be filled with joy so that nothing else can get in. Those other things that don't spark joy can't get in. When he says that your joy might be full, that means there is no more room for anything but joy. These books on essentialism and minimalizing speak to eliminating anything from your life that doesn't spark joy. Think of the spiritual application here. That we would begin to eliminate the things that come in and disturb us, the things that come in and rob us, that we invite in. We don't just allow them, we invite in, or at least I do. I don't want to spew what may not be happening in your life. It happens in mine. I allow these things in, and they disturb me and rob me of my full joy intended. So today I want you to hear this message. I want you to hear what your purpose is. I want you to hear why you're on this earth. The beautiful definition given in the Word of God is that this is a probationary period. We hire people on at our office and they're placed on probation. And in that time period, we decide whether or not they cross over from temporary to permanent. And isn't that what this probation is? And while we're on probation, our God promises us that our intention is to be filled with joy in this life. That's for our benefit, but it's also for the benefit of those who are not joy-filled around you. That they may see something different in you and want that difference. So that when they ask, what is it about you? You introduce to them the message of Jesus Christ. Told you earlier about these pictures and videos that my wife and I saw. I saw joy on these faces, and I thought to myself, that's what people want in their lives. They want that smile. They want that contentment. They want that fulfillment. They want that purpose. They want God. They want salvation. They just don't know it. And so your joy is the magnet to draw all people to Jesus Christ. So turning this just one more time, my prayer is that you might spark joy in others. But you can't do that until you obtain it, until you maintain it, until you present it in every facet of your life. I am one who has joy within. Come and taste. May the Lord bless each one of you is my prayer in Jesus' name.